Hey guys, it's Ty from GamesFromTheFront.com with an after action report for our Where Eagles Dare campaign game. This was the wrap up of session 11 and, session 12. And we're getting ready to play session 13 tomorrow night, so I better get this AAR out to the masses. Really interesting session last Tuesday. A lot of action, a lot of units on the board. So let me take you through it a little bit. Here in Falkenswald, we've got the 231st who's really taken over the town. They still have this armored unit who was lost several turns ago by a random event. He's still pretty much pinned down. And you have a couple of infantry units from the Devonshires who are kind of making a roundabout and making their way. Should point out that this was the remainder of the 1900 turn from the 18th of September into the night turn, all the way through the night turn, and then into the morning of the 0700 turn for the 19th of September. So a lot of these units have rallied and rallied from some cohesion hits. Off here to the side, the mobile artillery for Comp Group Walter has been doing some direct fire on some of the Devonshires and the 231st who've been approaching. And at the 700 turn, they had Comp Group Henke has shown up with some mobile and armored infantry. So they just came on the board at the 700 turn. These were some of the units that routed on the front from the front line, voluntarily routed at the beginning of the game, and have just returned here a day or day and a half later. So it's going to be an interesting couple turns coming up. A little bit further north, some more of the routed units from Kampfgruppe and Hoffman have showed up. A little bit more than a battalion, it looks like, maybe two battalions, have shown up here over to the east near Geldrop, and they're going to be making their way over to Eindhoven shortly, I imagine. Speaking of Eindhoven, Group Hot and Group Cold moved only a little bit. Group Cold didn't move too much on their way to Best. Group Hot made their way to Son, and I think got in range of this German infantry unit in the improved position. But in Eindhoven itself, the engineers are still working to repair the blown bridge. They've brought in the Bailey Bridge, and I think had one chance to set it up and didn't quite make it, so they've got a men at work marker on there. So the Bailey Bridge continues to go in place around Eindhoven. A little bit north in St. Odenrode, there's a couple of assaults. Some units from the, I think the 502nd made a little bit of progress a little bit further into town. I think it was this A company from the 502nd. He's now entrenched, or he not entrenched technically, but moved into the town. Pretty quiet otherwise. There was a garrison that jumped on one of the division trucks and moved in for reinforcement. But a lot of the action was at night and wasn't too effective. So pretty much a slugfest down there in St. Odenrode. Expected to pick it up the rest of the turn. Should point out at the beginning of the 700 turn, we rolled for weather, and it was rolled as overcast. So technically, or under normal rules, there would be no drop on this day for the airborne, the Allied airborne. However, we did set up a house rule that if the 101st Division does not get a drop on the 18th, then they are guaranteed to get one on the 19th. There's a number of reasons that I did that, but part of a discussion over in Consim World. But so even though it's overcast, they will get an airdrop towards the end of the 19th. But for now, the 506th and 502nd are pretty much on their own, holding on to Best. Down around the Best Bridge, a number of German infantry units have kind of surrounded the bridge, and you even got a mortar unit here. This maybe a little bit hard to see under the column marker, but this is an engineer unit. He's frantically racing to get to the bridge. I suspect that he'll get to the bridge in time to give it a shot to blow it, but he's only a 2 troop quality rating, so he's going to have some problems pulling that off. We also have another engineer a little bit west of town who's making its way over to the bridge. The heat of the action, or the meat of the action in best, was around this hex, which is right in the railroad hex in the middle of town. I think it was A Company from 506th was sitting there and kind of blocking the way, but pretty much through overwhelming forces, units from 2nd Battalion, I guess a little bit of 1st Battalion, were able to assault into that hex and ultimately eliminate A Company from the 506th. A little bit of action up here to the north. This unit, the G Company from 506th, he's been entrenched from an earlier random event. He's entrenched, he's suppressed, he's got 2 cohesion hits, but he is holding on, and even a couple of assaults failed against him, or failed to materialize. I think the Germans had failed not troop quality, what do you call it, a bravery roll. So they failed their bravery roll and couldn't assault G Company. Anyway, a lot of action last turn, and looking forward to session 13 tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.